The following is an exclusive presentation of Ravens Productions.
Coming up on this week's Ravens Report, relive every Ravens sack of the 2023 season heading into the bye week. An inside look into the quarterback's room. Plus, we head to Montezuma, Georgia with Roquan Smith. All that and more on this week's Ravens Report.
They are dancing in the aisles. Oh, what a scene we have at M&T.
Welcome back to another edition of Ravens Report presented by MedStar Health. I'm Evan Washburn, and welcome to Week 13 of the season, which for the Ravens is a chance to rest and recharge as they enter their bye week at 9-3 and atop the AFC, thanks in large part to the play of the defense and a relentless pass rush that has terrorized quarterbacks through the first 12 games. And if you needed a reminder, here's a look back at all league-leading 47 sacks.
I think the defense, we're not weak in any spots. If you ask me, I like our D-line versus anyone. I like our secondary versus anyone. I for sure like our linebackers versus anyone. So there's going to be a lot of great things that's going to happen.
But it's going to snap to the last, baby. Yes, sir. You know what we do on 2. 1, 2. Woo!
Texans on 4th and 1. Stroud on the play fake. He's hit and shot back at the 34-yard line. And the Ravens stop the Texans and hand the ball back to Lamar Jackson in the offense.
Stroud under pressure, buried. Roquan Smith, shot out of a cannon.
David Ajabo comes up with the ball, and the Ravens have it.
Down he goes. Jadeveon Clowney with his first sack as a Raven.
Hit, sack, back at the 45-yard line. The ball comes loose. Gardner Minshew got absolutely leveled by Kyle Hamilton with his 3rd sack of the half. Sack, ball is loose in the end zone. Safety, under pressure and sack, back at the 25-yard line. Thompson Robinson was drilled by Patrick Queen.
Trying to get away and loses the ball. Pickett gets hammered, and it is the former Steeler Arthur Millette.
And he's going to be hit and sacked back at the 40-yard line. Pickett surrounded, spun, and sacked back at the 43-yard line. Justin Madubuike throwing the Steeler quarterback to the turf.
Watching the Ravens play, man, it did remind me of when they had those potent defenses because it was physicality at the line of scrimmage.
Tripped up and taken down. Justin Madubuike with a sack, the 4th sack for the Ravens today. And the Ravens defense continues to deliver.
Goff in trouble and he's sacked. Arthur Millette comes in from the corner spot. Goff in trouble, almost lost it, spins into a sack, and down he goes. Kyle Van Noy has his 2nd one today.
Under pressure, hit and sack. Ball comes loose.
That was 58 Pierce again. The big man is making plays.
Hit and sack back at the 18-yard line. Justin Madubuike. And the Ravens defense comes up big. Smith is sacked back at the 38-yard line. Justin Madubuike.
He is surrounded, and he is slammed down back at the 33-yard line.
He's sacked back at the 45-yard line. Kyle Van Noy continues to annoy Geno Smith.
Ball knocked out of his hands. Strip sack. It's Van Noy making back-to-back plays.
And now you see why this is such a difficult unit to score against.
This is where it starts. When you start to see what it can look like, right? Rough, tough, smart, physical.
Davian Clowney does not fall for the fake at all.
What a season it has been for Justin Matabike. First down, Watson. Sack, ball comes loose.
Throw and sack back at the 24-yard line. Hit and sack back at the 43-yard line.
Oweh just continues to get better and better.
Tries to scramble, but he'll be corralled and dropped.
Herbert hit by Clowney. The ball is out, and Clowney's on it. They're one of the best defenses in the league, and they're showing it tonight.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody! Nobody!
And Justin Matabike has played lights out this season, not only leading all defensive tackles with 10 sacks, but also becoming the first Raven to reach double-digit sacks since Terrell Suggs back in 2017. Coming up next on Ravens Report, we learn more about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' special quarterbacks room led by Coach T. Martin. Ravens Report is brought to you by MedStar Health, the official medical team of the Baltimore Ravens and you, and M&T Bank, the official bank of the Baltimore Ravens. Welcome back to Ravens Report from the Under Armour Performance Center. I'm Evan Washburn. Lamar Jackson is on pace for one of the best seasons of his young career, and that on-field success is built on the practice field and in the meeting room, which is led by quarterbacks coach T. Martin, a former star at the position himself. And T, Lamar, along with Tyler Huntley and Josh Johnson, are also part of history as the NFL's first all-black quarterback room. And for more on this special room, let's hear from the man himself.
Here we go, championship quarterback, as we do each week. All right, Sunday success will start today, right? And how do we win? We win by executing our process to prepare at the highest level.
I think I was just sitting around the room one day and looking around and just kind of recognized that, you know, it was just us in there, all African-American quarterbacks and former quarterbacks, and with Kerry Dixon being there as well. And at that moment, it hit me, and I didn't even say anything to the guys because I didn't want it to be about that at that moment. And I went home and I was talking to my wife, and I got kind of choked up because I was just like, you're talking about coming a long ways, not as just players, but to have the coaches in the room as well.
If you really look at the scope of what's gone on at that position, from a racial perspective, it's amazing that it's gotten to this point because there were many, many years, decades, where there were no black quarterbacks, period, much less coaches and backups and assistant coaches. Just to have it spread like that into a whole room was unthinkable, probably a lot more recently than you'd think. If you put it against sort of the board of history and say, what were the chances of this happening? There's pretty long odds.
During our time and before us, the guys who played before, it was so rare to see an African-American quarterback that, I remember being a kid and I would kind of scroll through the channels and then I would watch the one game that had an African-American quarterback just because he looked like me. It gave me hope that I could play the position.
To get to this point, there were a lot of people that didn't get an opportunity to play. History is full of guys that could have played quarterback and either just said, I'm going to play another position or I'm going to beat my head against the wall and try to make it happen. And T. Martin, he was the one that said, I'm going to beat my head against the wall and I'm going to try to make it happen here in the 1990s in the Deep South. And he succeeded in many respects. He played college football, won a national championship. He did what Peyton Manning couldn't do. And he's proud of that, and he should be proud of that. He was a great college player. His story really tells the story because he got to the NFL after a great college career, gets drafted in the 5th round, and is basically told, it's not going to happen for you, sorry. So he bounces around for a few years, and that's it. And then he becomes a coach, and he becomes a great coach. But he's really seen the entire history of it. He understands it really well.
When we played, we looked up to guys like Warren Moon and Randall Cunningham and those guys who really were trendsetters and trailblazers for us. and we looked up to him thinking that one day it would be more of us in the National Football League. But we knew we had to go a long ways. We knew we had to prove ourselves by how we played and doing the right things on and off the field. And as the years went by, more and more guys got the opportunity. And this year, just without even thinking about it, you just looked around and saw how many African-American quarterbacks were starting quarterbacks in the National Football League. It's just something to be proud of. It just lets you know just how far we've come as a position group, and just how far the NFL has come in terms of their understanding and opportunities for guys to do something that they've been doing their whole lives. And I think that the more and more you see it, it becomes more and more common to where, years from now, we wouldn't have to have a conversation about it being an African-American quarterback. It could just be the way that it is. And that's what we're hoping for. I would get really mad when I would read articles about what Lamar Jackson couldn't do, because I was the receiver coach at the time. Oh, he can't throw this type of pass. And I'm like, he does it every day. And I just couldn't wait for the opportunity to be his coach when it was presented, to where I could have a part in saying, let's go out and show people.
Jackson, a magician. Touchdown, Lamar!
The electricity in his legs, unbelievable.
The play of the day, Lamar.
Jackson shake and bake for the touchdown.
Are you kidding me?
T, obviously being the quarterback's coach, along with Tom Monken and the entire staff, they're helping Lamar, I feel like, see things and have control of the field. And that's what you want. No matter what the play call is, when Lamar gets to the line of scrimmage, if he sees something else that he wants to do, you want him to have the ability to get them into a better play. So yeah, I think this is just the floor. I think the ceiling could be very high for this offense, not just this year, but moving forward for the next 2, 3, or 4 years, where Lamar should really be entering his prime year. So even though I think he's playing really well, I really don't think we've seen the best of what's going to be.
The most unique and special part about Lamar Jackson to me is the person he is. The father is. Just getting to know him as a human being makes sense to how he's the player and why he's the player that he is. And then on the field, he is the most competitive natured player I've been around. He wants to win at everything. He has a photographic memory, and he has a recall about things that's unique. Like, a lot of stuff is talent, but he can recall and tell you exactly what he saw. And when he starts to explain things, you're like, oh, no. This dude is different.
But you're the best in the world, and just keep reminding us every day. And I put us on there because I like seeing it. All right, so let's keep being you, keep dominating that.
Touchdown! Just how effortless he is.
We're his biggest fans, and we're here to help him be the best that he can be. And so the guy's amazing, and on Sundays, he shares it with the rest of the world. We're the lucky ones that get a chance to see it every day.
And last week against the Chargers, Lamar became the fastest quarterback to reach 5,000 rushing yards in just 82 games played. Truly in a league of his own. Coming up next on Ravens Report, we take you off the field to Montezuma, Georgia, to get to know linebacker Roquan Smith. Welcome back to this week's edition of Ravens Report, presented by MedStar Health. I'm Evan Washburn. Since joining the Ravens in the middle of last season, Roquan Smith has been an undeniable leader for this team, both on and off the field. And over the offseason, the Ravens production team got the opportunity to take a trip with Roquan back to the place that built the man he is today, his hometown of Montezuma, Georgia. Here's part one of a road trip home.
Growing up in Marshallville and Montezuma, it was all I knew. Small town, a lot of just families, everyone knows everyone.
One store as a convenience store, more family oriented. You felt more close, tight knit.
He will make the best of anything, so he knew what he had access to, and he was very content with that. He didn't focus on what he didn't have, but he focused on what he wanted to have. So he's like the best kid ever.
Roquan was very respectful.
but very inquisitive. He always liked to be around older people, I guess, to get that vibe from them, you know, a wiser person.
Ever since a youngin', always had like an old soul, old spirit.
He was not your average kid. Very humble. Sometimes hard-headed, sometimes would do things that you tell him not to do. Especially in football, you'll tell him to run a certain way, he'll run the opposite way. But his sports ability was out of the world. So we knew he was going to be special.
I started playing ball at the age of 6. My Pop Warner coach, his name was Duke. Asked my mom, would she be okay if I come out and try to play? And then she was like, a 6-year-old me, like, yeah, I'll have a talk with him.
I remember that perfectly, like it was yesterday. I hesitated a little bit, but he always said in elementary school that that was his dream, that he wanted to play NFL football.
I used to always watch the game and still being a kid watching it at like Sunday after a service or whatever like that. And being able to just like cut on the TV, sit on the floor, crisscross applesauce. And then she asked me, and then I was like, yeah, of course. The next day I went out there and like, I never looked back. You know, this was the rec department. I used to have this thing packed out.
Going to the rec on Saturdays, that was a doozy, okay. Quan was like 7 or 8, and Quan was so explosive out there. I mean, he was just all over the field. And of course, you know, he was a little tall for his age. A little chaos started. You had parents saying that he was not the age he was, and not a child at that age could be playing that good.
Yes, he was a big kid. His ability to do everything, he thugged out more than anyone else on any team.
You know, to solve that, because it was so many parents, they had to stop the game, and I'll never forget it, and go upstairs to like get his birth certificate to prove his age.
I mean, the parents came on the field, he's too old, he's too old. So I had to have his birth certificate on my hand everywhere we went.
People literally here in the small town, like in the South in general, look forward to like football season where they, you know, people treat it like a religion. Saturdays it was here, Fridays it's the high school.
Coming up next on Ravens Report, we stay in Montezuma to see where Roquan found his passion for giving back to the community. Welcome back to Ravens Report from the Under Armour Performance Center. I'm Evan Washburn. So we've seen what Roquan is capable of on the football field, no doubt a product of the mindset and work ethic he learned in his hometown. And off the field, Roquan brings that same determination when it comes to giving back to his community, both in Georgia and here in Baltimore. So to learn more about Ro's passion for community service, we head back to Montezuma for part 2 of a road trip home.
Good morning.
What's going on, Deck?
How you doing, man?
Pretty good, how about you?
All right. His atmosphere around here is like a hero to Macon County. We don't have to call him. He's always reaching out, hey, what you guys need? Can I do this for you? So he's a big inspiration to this community.
Now let's give it up for Mr. Roquan Smith.
Being at the rec center makes my heart smile. It's just the reason I do what I do, just being able to have an impact on those kids. I know it's like growing up in a very small rural area in Georgia, and I just know the impact that if someone is in a more fortunate position than others and being able to give back, I know the type of feeling that it can have and the impact that it can have, and it changes lives and it gives you a totally different perspective on lives. Could I come through?
I knew he was passionate about giving back when he was young. Like if we would go somewhere, he would try to hand somebody something as a young child, and it was just little odd things that I knew that he liked to give back.
One thing I noticed about him, we would go to the grocery store. We would never have to tell him to go to the car and get the groceries. Or he's out, something drops on the floor, he's picking it up. And those are the tendencies with children that shows that their ability to give and see what's around them that needs to be done. And so he sees a need and he addresses it.
I think it really started from my coach in high school, Larry Harrell. He instilled that, like the charity work, giving back to the community as much as you can. Whether I was in the 10th, 11th grade, we're going out, picking up trash in the community as a team. are going down volunteering at different places. So just being able to know the impact that you have even such at an early age, well before I was Roquan Smith playing in the NFL, and like just seeing how much people appreciate just good people in the world. And it's never a bad thing to be a good person. So if you can't be anything, at least try to be a good person.
Good work. Oh, he got the sauce. Okay.
When we started this journey as well to get the foundation started, he laid it out what he wanted to do. And so when he was at UGA, we did some community outreaches there. So that was a driving force for him, that he, from that day on, he was always trying to find ways to give back and do things. And he's the driver in all the decisions.
Hard work on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hard work.
I care deeply about it. Back when I was in college, giving out turkeys onto like the league, when I started making some money for myself, whether it was back to school things or whether that's, shoes and cleats to not just my high school but other high schools. There's countless of things I truly enjoy doing, and I just can't wait to just continue to give back to the community and just be the biggest asset I can to any community that I'm in, Baltimore, and just how much love Baltimore community has showed me. I'm just excited to be able to put my hand in the pot at any time and do a lot of things for the kids.
Hey, Jaden, can we get one picture? Ava, Roquan, nice to meet you. I'll always be just an arm reach away, so you guys can always depend on me and count on me.
How did it feel when you first got in the NFL?
Being from a small town and being able to make it, it was pretty sweet, and just being able to live out a childhood dream. So I just try to do everything I can to keep myself in the position that I'm in and just bust my tail day in and day out. I was just a guy from small town Georgia just like you.
And Roquan has once again proven to be one of, if not the best linebacker in the game. And with Pro Bowl voting officially open, you can head to BaltimoreRavens.com/Pro Bowl to vote for Roquan and your favorite Ravens. That'll do it for this week's show. Thanks so much for watching. After the bye, the Ravens return home to take on the LA Rams. You won't want to miss it. Enjoy the bye week, and we'll see you right back here next week for another edition of Ravens Report.